Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 21 video. Today we are going to be sharing with you our 4-3-1-2 tactics. This is a formation that I have not had a lot of experience with for the vast majority of the year, but from now I'm just kind of tinkering, just playing when I feel like it on FIFA, just trying out some new formations and just having some fun with them. So I've tried out this 4-3-1-2 recently, played some games with it, and I'm going to be showing you the tactics and instructions and the general experience that I had with this formation. Also, I just want to say before this video does begin that we are all wishing Christian Eriksen the best, and it's absolutely amazing to see that he is making, it seems like he's okay and potentially making a recovery. So all the best wishes to Christian Eriksen. I'm sure the whole footballing world can unite, and we wish him the best, and we hope that he makes a full recovery. Because it was absolutely scary to watch that on TV yesterday. I'm sure you guys saw. So hoping the best for Christian Eriksen, sending our love his way. So without further ado, going into the tactics. Today we are going to be starting with the defensive style, and we are playing on balance. Now balance works really well with this formation. A press doesn't work well. The reason why a press doesn't work well in this formation, as you can see, it is an extremely narrow formation, and formations that are really narrow don't press really well because you've obviously anyone who's half decent, you can just chip it out to the wingers if you're playing a narrow wide formation, and it's easy to play against the press, especially if it's a narrow formation. Just chip it out to the wings, and then you can stretch the opponent's team from there. So press just doesn't really work in this formation, and it's not very effective, and you won't see any benefits. You'll just see more detriment, so I wouldn't recommend playing it. And then the depth, again, that's more dependent on how you want to play. For me, I'm just playing on a really high depth. I'm playing on 7 for this formation. It's quite a solid, quite a compact formation. Can be quite a difficult formation for your opponents to break down. So you can therefore afford to play a little bit higher at the pitch. I'm playing on 7 depth. In terms of the offensive style, this can be kind of adjusted because long ball work really, really well with this formation. But fast build-up can be super effective with this formation as well. Now, the reason why fast build-up can work really well is because in these really tight, narrow formations, fast build-up works probably best in these formations, because when your players are, as you can see, the midfield 4 and the strikers and even the defenders, when everybody's really, really close together, fast build-up can work really well. That's when it works best. Lots of quick, sharp 1-2 passing in between your players. So when there's not a lot of gaps between your players, fast build-up works exceptionally well. So fast build-up can work very, very well for this formation. It is probably one of the best formations for fast build-up. I played a lot on long ball and found it very, very effective. So I think on this occasion you could use either or. I think fast build up, I only played 1 or 2 games of fast build up, and it did work very, very well. I just had most of my success with long ball, and it was just working, so I didn't change it off of long ball. But you can definitely give fast build up a go, and it will be very, very effective. For me though, long ball worked very, very well. Long ball works well if you obviously have pacey players. So if you're somebody who's got lots of super high pace players, then long ball work really, really well. So either or on the offensive style. In terms of the offensive width, you know that I like to go really, really wide on the offensive width, but with this formation it doesn't work. All it will do is it will just spread your midfielders out, because you don't have any natural width. You don't have left and right mids, you don't have left and right wingers, so it will just naturally it will just spread your midfield out and make it really easy for your opponents to play through your midfield. So it's better to just play compact. If anything, just play really short. Like I said, you've chosen a formation, if you're playing this formation, that's quite narrow, so you have to play to the strengths of your formation. So if you're playing with a narrow formation, you really want to be playing with a narrow width, because you know that's what you've chosen to play. There's no point pushing your players out to 10 width, because all you're going to do is just make it really easy for your opponent to play through you. So when you're selecting a narrow formation, you may as well play narrow. Your opponent's going to get space on the wings anyway, so you may as well just let them have the space on the wings. Let your fullbacks deal with the wingers, and you just keep shape in the midfield and just don't worry about it. So for me, I like to play on around about 5. I think works very, very well for this formation. And then players in the box, corners and free kicks is all the standard stuff that we normally use for all of our formations. In terms of Yashin, the goalkeeper, of course, on comes for crosses and sweeper keeper, and then Van Dijk and Zagadou are on stay back while attacking, and they're on conservative inceptions. Don't really want those guys to be jumping into tackles too much, so I like to have those guys on conservative. We will come back to the fullbacks. In terms of the midfielder, Michael Ballack, the most central midfielder, I like to have him on drop between defenders, cover center, and stay on the edge of the box, just to kind of almost when I'm defending to have like a third center back, because So Ballack will kind of drop in. It will kind of become a little bit of a back five. And I found this was super, super effective. I think this works really, really well in a select couple of formations that have kind of these flat midfields. The most central midfielder dropping between the defenders, so he can pick up the ball from the defenders and you can start the attack from there. It was super, super effective. Probably the most important part of this formation, and probably the most noticeable part of this formation, was this central midfielder on drop between defenders. It worked extremely well, especially if you're somebody who's not comfortable defending counterattacks. You kind of have this third centre back when you're defending, and then you can bring Ballack out of the defence to chase the ball and still have your natural four defenders. So you're not yanking sort of your defenders out left, right and centre. You're yanking a midfielder out who's supposed to be used to intercept the ball anyways, whilst keeping your defensive shape. So this was super, super important and worked exceptionally well. In terms of the two outside midfielders, Kimmich and Lozano, I would recommend just keeping them on absolutely balanced and just on cover centre. Obviously, your two outside midfielders, they want to get forwards. They want to get involved in the attack. Obviously, depending on the players you have, you want kind of more box-to-box midfielders work really well in this formation, or potentially some cams like Bruno Fernandes could work really well. If it's like a team of the season, Bruno Fernandes, he could work exceptionally well in this formation. But ideally, you want box-to-box mids. They work really well. Kimmich works extremely well in this formation. Lozano, not so much, obviously, because he's not a winger. But Kimmich, that type of midfielder, you know, Goretzka, someone like that will work exceptionally well. Just someone who can attack and defend, because they're going to get forward to create opportunities, but they also need to be able to defend when you don't have the ball as well. So having them on pretty much balanced is the best way to play. In terms of Lorenzo Insigne, or the cam in this formation, I had him on get into the box for crosses and free roam. As we said with the two midfielders, they are kind of just there to sort of protect, almost, you know, just sit behind Insigne, still get forwards and attack, but I don't want them getting into the box. Insigne getting into the box and supporting Immobile and Ronaldo up front and free roam, so he can drift around sort of around the strikers. He can sort of float and create problems for the rest of the team. And then Ronaldo and Immobile up front, I've left them both just on get in behind. Haven't put them on to come back on defense or stay forward. You want them both on stay central as well, because again, you've chosen a narrow formation, so you don't want to be pushing your wide players out. You know, you don't want to have Ronaldo, for example, and Immobile on drift wide. You don't really even want them on balance. I mean, you could have them on balance. You could try them if you want. I just found that for me, I've chosen to play a narrow formation, so I may as well play to the strengths of it and play central. And of course, it's going to be quite difficult because, you know, you're going to be forcing the ball inside all the time. And that's the one thing I dislike about this formation and these narrow formations just in general. 4-1-2-1-2 is another one. I just find these formations are a little bit difficult to play. For someone like me, I like to kind of have lots of options when I attack. I don't, you know, I felt like whenever I was going forwards, especially with the fullbacks, because I like to have them on in this formation, stay back while attacking. I find that whenever your fullbacks did sort of venture forward, it was so predictable. You always have to pass the ball inside, and it can become a little bit easy for your opponent to defend. So if you do want to have your strikers on balanced width, you can do that. Obviously, Insigne behind is floating on the free roam, so those guys can sort of drift a little bit wide. Insigne can come up the middle, and it can be kind of a bit of a narrow 4-3-3 almost in certain situations. But I found for me that playing with them on stay central was the most effective way to play. So that is it for this 4-3-1-2 video. Now, it was a good formation. I definitely had success with it. It definitely was not one of my favorite formations. I'm not a huge fan of these really narrow formations. For me personally, and the way that I like to play FIFA, I just think it's a little bit too one-dimensional and just not my favorite way to play. But these tactics and instructions definitely were good. I think it's more just the formation, and probably my play style just doesn't suit this formation. Not necessarily that the tactics and instructions or anything like that are bad. Probably just my play style just does not suit this formation. But if you're someone that likes to play a lot of tiki-taka football, this will suit you extremely well, and you'll have a lot of fun with this formation. So if you enjoy the video, do subscribe. Make sure you do leave a like as well if you do enjoy the content. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.